Hey, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of Saagnik Speaks. Here we discuss things we all felt, but somehow couldn't express. Myself, Saagnik. I have made a mistake. A huge mistake of focusing on the perfection more than progress. What do I mean by that? Well, before that, I would like to ask you a question. Have you felt this way? Ah shit, what have I done it? What if I had the courage to do it? Is your life filled with could haves and should haves? Take your time. How often do you wonder all of this? How often does it take you off the track? Haven't you tried asking yourself, why does it all happen to me? I would like to break off that dilemma for you. It's the story of the majority. I bet you often feel guilty for multiple things. But let's clear things at first. Guilt and regret are not exactly brothers, you know. Guilt is something when you have done something wrong, whereas regret, on the other hand, focuses on what you have not done. You might feel guilty for snapping a friend, but you might regret for not taking that dream job in a new city. So, when does regret take over? Often, it's when the dust settles after a big decision. We tend to look back and see where our decisions and choices have led us. And apparently, it's not often as greenish as we had hoped for. This can particularly be true with the significant decisions of our lives, like careers, relationships, and where to live, and the crucial moments like so. But here is the interesting part. Regret seems to always show up at the end. We don't typically regret our morning coffee choices, but a major life decision 5 years ago. Why? Because with time, our imaginations have a chance to run wild with the what ifs. We picture the alternate realities where we took the other path, often overlooking the challenges and uncertainties that might have existed there too. But do you know where does all this stem from? A big one is a lack of clarity on our values. When we don't have a strong sense of what truly matters to us, making decisions can feel like flying blind. This can lead to choices that don't align with who we are at our core. And guess what? When there's a disconnection between our actions and our values, it's very natural for regret to show up in our lives. Yeah, there might be subtle cases like fear of failure, judgment, and everything. We might hold ourselves back from pursuing a dream or taking a chance because we are terrified of the potential of things not working. I have been an extreme victim of the very same thing. Our connection with the social media and flaunting of others' perfectly curated lifestyle is another major player behind these regrets. Oh, I wish I had started earlier. I could have been much better, right? I know. We scroll through feeds overflowing with achievements, vacations, picture-perfect relationships. It's very easy for all of us to fall into this trap. This leads to nothing but a feeling of inadequacy, making our own paths seem less fulfilling. We might even start wondering, what if we were on the right track? This in turn can lead to the simmering pot of regret, especially if we haven't fully explored our own desires and values. The problem is, social media highlights are only the best snippets of someone's life. We don't get to see the entire picture, the struggles, the sacrifices, or the moments of doubt they might be facing. Comparing our entire behind-the-scenes journey with someone else's highlight reel is an absolute perfect recipe for regret. I often felt that I could have at least tried that, despite all the hurdles I'd face on the go. The phrase which still triggers my motivation is, the pain of regret is way bigger than the pain of discipline. And I agree to it. Like, tell me, how many times have you hated yourself for not acting up? Efforts are important in everything, be it relationships with your partner, your family, yourself. everywhere. Similarly, efforts are mandatory for our dreams too. If you have got to achieve them, you have got to put the right amount of efforts needed for it. There has been innumerable times where I have felt like not acting up on something, but later it led to nothing but regret. I need you to understand that you have it inside you. The risk you have been waiting for to hop on, do it. Time is flying, my friend. Definitely not forcing you to randomly jump onto something, but the dream that has been embedded in you since ages. I'm asking you to act upon it. What are you scared of? What? Of the people judging you? The very same people who doesn't shut a fuck upon your existence? Them who suddenly appears to enjoy the show when you're down? Really? All it takes is one time, one step. Forget everything and give it your 100%. Down the lane in 5 years, you'll be in a complete different place, a complete different person. And everything depends on the decision you take today. Well, though having regrets can be perceived negatively, it can be used to make better choices in future. If you understand the root causes of your regret, it would get far more easier for you to fix it and make better decisions, isn't it? Look, where it's on you. Will you still hang on to the fact that you have been waiting all your life and cry about it? Or would you go pursue it? Now I want to really ask you, what is holding you back? No, I really want you to answer it. If not now, but to yourself later. But I want you to. What exactly is stopping you? Answer yourself. Are you lesser than somebody? Are you any less than what you think yourself to be? How many more excuses, mate? How many? You have been lying to yourself all this time. The only thing that's stopping you from escaping the prison of regret is to take the first step towards your dream. There are innumerable books on building habits, taking action, and a lot more. But all I feel deep inside is that unless I start valuing my potential, stay consistent towards my goal or dream, despite of how scary it may seem, I'm never gonna succeed, and I cannot lose. I could never live with that regret. Break it down. Break down your goals into smaller pieces, into achievable steps, and go behind them. Imagine if you could go back in time and advise your younger self, what would you say? Take more risks. Speak up. Believe in yourself. Whatever it is, remember that you can still apply those lessons to your life today. I bet you have heard this saying which goes like, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. If you feel you have missed out on a lot, you have the moment now. Better late than never. So how about we make a deal with ourselves? From now on, whenever we'll see regret knocking on our door, we'll answer it with courage and curiosity. We'll ask ourselves, what can I learn from this experience? How can I grow from this? What's the next step I need to take? Listen, I'm not here to teach you how to deal with it. There are people talking about it who are really better at it. But I'm gonna speak to your face. I want you to realize what you fear. I want you to realize what you're scared of. Your regret is costing you your potential of succeeding. On you now. Remember, regret is not a destination. It's a stepping stone to a brighter future. And I believe in you. I do. Before we go, could you please do one thing for me? Please think of your dream you have. Take a deep breath. What is the one thing that you can do today positively toward that dream? Do it. Even if it's the tiniest effort, I want you to do it. That will define the success of my podcast. the motive behind my podcast. And yes, thank you everyone once again for sticking with me. Thanks for supporting Saagnik Speaks this way. If you made it till here, just drop a comment with you below. And as always, it was very good to have you here. If you have something that you would want me to cover on my next podcast, make sure to DM me on Instagram at @Saagnik, I_am_Saagnik, or on Facebook, it's @Saagnik Sarkar. So yeah, that was all about today's topic, and I promise to meet you again here with something common that we all felt. Not all things needs to be different, right? Myself Saagnik, signing off.